Okay, so we're back working on the Ducati 696. It's been over a year since this thing's been taken apart. I've had other projects. I've had too much stuff going on. But right now, we need to slap it together because we're moving. Don't want any parts being lost. So, best thing to do is just to build it. So that's what we're gonna do. I gotta relap the valves because I remember that they were leaking. I put gas inside the exhaust port and the intake port, and they were both leaking gas out of the valves. So that's not good. Those definitely need to be reseated. So I have some grinding compound right here. Got the fine. So this is the last step. And this is the course, so this is the first one that you want to go at it with. And then we have our tools here, suction cups. So let's not lose any time. I won't be doing too much explaining in this video. I'll come in to explain some things, but we're trying to get this done ASAP. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, so I already got done one of the sides, but I want to do a little bit of quick explaining. These rocker, the whole rocker assembly is so odd. I've never seen one like this, thanks to Ducati. But so this is the rocker, and then this is basically the spring. It literally lifts the valve back up with, obviously, a spring, but it acts completely different compared to a regular, you know, like a smaller displacement motorcycle, or actually just, you know, Suzuki's are the same way. They have like this traditional style valve layout. With the spring, with the retainer clip and whatnot. This still has a retainer clip, but it's, you know, usually the spring goes on the valve, not further away with a lever pushing it up. So, you know, this is pretty cool. But what you want to do to get this started and get everything torn apart so you can start relapping the valves, first thing to do is you remove this clip so you can slide this rocker arm to the side so you have access to dropping the valve down the bottom. So I'll show you real quick what this is about. There you go. So that's the retainer clip, goes on the rocker. This way now you're able to slide that over. You get the spacer out. And now this is the weird part. Through the other side, you gotta have both windows open. Through the other side, what you're gonna want to do is literally put a screwdriver here, and push up on this. Anyways, that way you're able to remove the retainer clips, which are right here, go right on the valve. Then you take off this carrier, and then your valve is free. You're able to completely drop it from the bottom side. Also, you remove a valve on a Ducati 696 or any monster platform. Okay, back at it. So I reseated both valves on both heads. They're basically ready for assembly. Make sure they had no leaks. It was tedious. Took a few days trying to get all the geometry right and the clearances. It's a little bit funny how these valves work, but we got it all done. So now it should be time to slap the heads onto the engine. Ducati again. We're going to be installing the engine. It's finally all put together. So the engine's right there. So we got the bike right now on a stand, so we can start assembling it. Okay, so as you can see, the Ducati's all put together after a very long weekend, and just today is Monday. We were able to get this thing started. Starts no problem now. I fucked up. I think it needs a dash. She's in one piece right now. Well, not yet. She's not fully finished. So we're gonna go ahead and start assembling the rest of the bike, putting on the fairings, just miscellaneous stuff that's missing. What I'm doing right now is trying to splice into the wiring harness so I can change the original blinkers with these these little LED strips. So these basically you can mount them on the forks, and it's a lot cleaner than having the two signal turn signal sticks sticking out the side compared to like the stock one. So I mean, this is a cool little upgrade. Not that expensive. I also went ahead and installed the rear light for the bike. So as you can see, it has a new tail light. So that tail light is pretty clean, and it has integrated turn signals. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, just doing a few mods, making it a little bit cleaner. So basically what I'm gonna do for this is I put in the old connector that came off the turn signal, and I turn on the turn signal to make sure there's obviously current going to them, and I found out that this was the positive and this is the negative. So I'll just hook up the black wire over here and then the red one over there, and we should be able to have blinkers on the front. So let's test that out. So as you can see, we got it working. So just got to do the same thing for the other side as well. So this is actually the right side blinker, so we're going to go ahead and put on the right side fork and do the same for the left side. So I'm going to show you guys how to quickly measure the blinker signals. Make sure these are far apart from each other, they don't touch, and start turning on your turn signals. So what we're gonna do is go on volts and direct current, because this is direct current. So as you can see, it's on 0, and if I put my voltmeter here, I got some sort of power, so it's still going, and as you can see, it jumps from 0 to 2 to 5. It should be a more solid jump, but what you're basically looking for is that it doesn't go negative, because if it goes negative, that means that your lines are backwards. So that means that if I hold it like this backwards, you're gonna see it going negative. And if you see it go negative at all, that means your leads are backwards, and that means that basically this is your negative while your red is here, and then this is your positive while your negative is right here. So that means it's going backwards. So in conclusion, this is your negative, and then this is our positive. This doesn't go negative. So I'll put the positive lead to here, and then the negative one to this one. So I started moving the connector a little bit, and I got it to make proper contact. I guess the pins are bad or something. I guess it's just corrosion, weathering, but there you go. So there we go. We got the right side, and then we got the left side. So they're both working pretty well. So the thing that was making the left blinker dim, it was just the connector. I believe the pins were not properly connected, but now we have perfect brightness. Now move on to the headlight. So the headlight has some some of these wires are cut off for some reason. So we're gonna try to see if we can make a connector, go find a 4-pin connector from O'Reilly's, put it in here, we'll see. Fucking me. Fried. Fucking stupid. Fucking retard. Fucked up. Piece of shit, bro. God damn it. Okay, well, that was kind of fucked up. So I just wanted to go get the missing connector for this thing that I needed, but definitely I think the crankshaft sensor is not happy. So I'm gonna take it off right now. I'm gonna strip the whole wire, make sure it's not making contact by any chance, and that's why it might be making the motorcycle die. Maybe it's shorted out, I'm not sure, but we're gonna figure that out to make sure that this shit doesn't happen again. But basically, this goes connected to the harness, and then the wire string on the outside. Okay, so you can tell there's a wire strands on the outside right there, and this white wire, or yellow, is the one that sends the signal. So if this one's touching up here with each other, it's just gonna create interference and the bike's not gonna run. So let's take apart this casing so we can properly put some cover on that cable see if we can reuse the sensor. If not, I'll just get a new sensor. It's not a big deal, but let's make it work with what we have, so we don't have to wait for parts.
Maybe even on the coast, disguised in regalia, and making the most of the most of a.
So what I basically did right here was cut the isolating part, because since this cable in the inside is all broken, chewed up, and you can tell this black one's the same way. But if the insulating one actually touches the white one, it's gonna start messing with the signal. So I basically trimmed it back as much as I could, cut it off from the bottom, make sure nothing's gonna touch it, and then I basically just wrapped this one up as best as I could. So this one should be working now. There's a crankshaft angle sensor, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's the crankshaft sensor. But we should be good now to install it back on the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up real quick to see if this actually even works. So I hope it does.
Maybe you're in Australia. Maybe even on the coast.
So we got the sensor in. Alright, cool, we got the sensor in. Hopefully it starts. We have some splice wires, and right here I have a 4-pin connector that can basically be connected into the 4 cables that are here. So what I'm going to be doing is putting the connector on this one, so on these splice wires, so I can connect them to this headlight, and that's all we're missing for this bike, I believe. We should be done. But so what I'm basically gonna do is install this here, and then install these cables here, so we can just hook up the headlight and it should be working. So let's get started. Hopefully these leads are all good. Okay, so what I did was basically try to figure out where these cables go. This is pretty simple. You basically try to find ground first of all. Usually ground is the black one, so just put up this to whatever one of these and turn on the bike, and with that you should see the voltmeter change. So if it's, you have the positive and the negative correctly, you should read just regular 12 volts and no negatives. So definitely this is the ground. This is positive. This is probably just always hot. I'm not sure. This one's always hot as well. I don't know why, but oh well. This one, and on the other hand, I believe it's the high beam. So as you can see, if I turn off the switch, the high beams, 12 volts. Low beam is regular. So definitely this yellow and black is the high beam, and these two are always hot, and then there's the black one. Regardless, thankfully we have the connector on this side, and the cables look to be the same color, so we can just do it by color. But basically, just to be sure, you don't want to mess anything up. So what I'm going to be doing is basically putting my connector here. So I'll put number 1, pin number 1 as a negative. Then I'll put the two, put a yellow and a white one, and then the high beam at the end. So pretty simple, straightforward. So let's start soldering. Sides with terminals, and we can actually plug this in, no problem. So let's go ahead and install this headlight, see if we can see it turn on. Perfect, so we got low beam, high beam, no flasher. There we go. So that was it for this build. It's came a long way. It's been over a year since I first took it apart. I did lose almost all the footage of me tearing it down, actually opening up the engine. But the crankcase itself, obviously, it looked okay. I actually have the crankcase right there. The only thing that it had, the only problem that it had, it was obviously it was cracked along the mounting points of the bike. Obviously here structural support parts. So you know, we got that changed. So now this crankcase is actually in great shape. Obviously I showed that it had a slight crack on it, but nothing compared to what the other one had. So overall, you know, it rides fine, so at least I know that slapping the engine together was fine. We did have that problem where it left me stranded. Obviously that was just a crankshaft sensor, crankshaft position sensor. And the sensor itself was good, it was just the wiring that was bad to the sensor. Obviously I can get a new sensor and don't worry about it, but I wanted to make it work with what I had. Didn't want to wait for parts. Obviously now with quarantine and all this stuff, it's pretty hard to get parts, and then just ship them in. It's not the best, at least for my time frame right now. But yeah, I mean, we got a running 696 Ducati for about, let's see, all in all, I've spent obviously a few bucks on parts. The crankcase by itself, basically the whole engine by itself, was worth about around $250, $300 just to replace the crankcase and then obviously ordering the seals and whatnot, or the seals, new head gaskets. I didn't even change the rings on it, so the rings are the original rings. Thankfully they didn't look compressed, so I was able just to squish them back in and put them into the cylinder. You know, it's a pretty good bike. All we're missing is this little spring right here that goes on the back, and a new cover that's broken. Obviously these have a whole cover in the back, but for the price that I paid for it, it's definitely not a bad motorcycle to have. I mean, and it's a V-twin, so you don't really have to worry about that much stuff. Yeah, it's pretty simple, and I'm not gonna say it's simple to work on, but I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's probably as simple as a Harley. just very compact, high RPM engine. But yeah, I don't know what else we're missing with this bike. Did all the turn signals, the front headlight, maybe the brake light needs a little bit of work. Yeah, all in all, it's a good bike. Solid price tag, not too much. Probably needs a new fender. Needs a lot of stuff, but I don't know. For a good, cheap daily bike that you really don't care about, it's a good price.